about this portion, because that time of bonding, you have women returning to work. You have women that are already psychologically and physically under distress, but then for the sake of monetarily vices, you return, and then now you have postpartum depression. You have suicidal ideations. You have disconnection with just reality. They check out. And then what happens to that child? That child is now open to all of these different things in their formidable years. And I can't stress enough how many times you've turned on the news, if you watch the news, or you've heard the stories, or you've seen the child that is now no longer here, and it could have been prevented had the mother nurtured or taken time to provide that bonding time, instead of sending them to a child care facility where they're being abused, where they're being neglected, where they're being undervalued, where they're being overstimulated in a lot of times because of the pressure to make everything uniform, because they want simplicity. It's the standard. It's not about the uniqueness. When you go into a public setting is going to do what meets the standard. It's the state regulations. That's why they put them there. And so that's the so-called formidable years. They're passed off to the development centers, the child care centers, where the current day children, like I said, are being abused, mistreated, neglected in numerous ways. And the rates are extremely inflated. So then, as if all of those other aspects of this woman's life and her ability and her nurturing aren't enough, now these inflated rates is a problematic area on top of all of those different things, all through deception, guys. Because at what point are you willing to just throw in the towel? What point are you really just willing to examine the entire structure of the systems in which we have modern day? Because at some point, the sense needs to make sense. It's not supposed to be insanity. And so the rates are inflated, a rate which was never meant to be paid in the first place. He didn't say go pay someone. He said that you were supposed to have a village. This is why it's a cycle. This is why they're called great grandparents. This is why they're called grandparents. This is why they're called great aunts, great uncles, great whatever you want to call them. But it's a village, because if you do things according to his design and his structure,